Now, boy, did I cause quite a stir with my last video. Now, last week's video, if you aren't aware, was about me building a Tesla and wrapping in a color that apparently everyone hates. But if you're looking for said video, it was taken down from YouTube. It was about how I'm leaving Tesla and buying a gas car instead. The video was downvoted into the abyss, and it was reported to YouTube, in which they took it down. But interestingly enough, the video had two overall messages, which I think were missed. Number one, I'm not moving away from Tesla. I'm selling this Tesla. I have way too many already. Each of my kids has one. I have a shop that has Teslas in and out every day. My wife has one. My girlfriend has one. What's a guy to do? I want to try something different, like not a Tesla, because there really aren't any EVs that are that interesting to me right now, besides the Porsche Taycan. The second message was, well, Tesla canceled my referral code, meaning I had a referral code where you can get stuff. I got 2 free kids Power Wheels and a solar roof token that gives me $0 off. And well, that's about it. As soon as I started reaching close to the Tesla Roadster referral program, they ended it right there, which is fine because my credits were still valid. But then I got the email that said your benefits have been terminated. All of what you did was in vain. Thanks for playing. You get nothing. But that's not for this video. That'll be for next week. But the infamous video that was flagged from last week is gone like the wind, and if it goes live again, I'm sure I'll face Khan's wrath. But if you want to see it, click on the link in the description box below. It's on Patreon with the other exclusive content, behind the scenes, bloopers, adult footage, etc. Now, changing the subject, everyone always asks me where I got the motors to make my Cyber Quad and electric rat rod. I get them from Zero Motorcycles. They're small but powerful motors that literally come with everything: a battery, charging, BMS, literally everything you need for a conversion. As a matter of fact, after watching my crappy videos, it inspired a man named Daniel to zero convert his old school Fiat. He covered 19 miles after he got it converted in total, starting with 100% state of charge. It was round trip, and he ended with 80% state of charge with 2 people and a dog in it. That's better range than a Nissan Leaf. Now, if you're looking for a Zero, you can find one at IAA.com. This one right here, this bike will likely have everything you need for your own swap. So check it out, www.iaai.com. Sign up and bid, and use my code RICH20. That'll get you $100 off registration. It's well worth it. Now, in this video, we're going to walk you through the process of converting a rear-wheel drive Tesla Model 3 into an all-wheel drive Model 3. Chris bought a rear-wheel drive long-range Model 3 a few years back because, honestly, who wants to spend over 50 grand for a car that looks like a toad? Today, we're going to try to convert this rear-wheel drive Model 3 into an all-wheel drive car. Then we're going to add on the electrified garage Stage 1, which gives it a performance boost from the regular 4.3 seconds to about 3.8. So there's a lot of work that's going to be done to this car. We're also going to add a bonus to it as well. We're going to give this car the sound to back it up, its new performance. Because as you know, noise equals performance. Now, remember the last video where Chris demoed the sound machine with the dual fake exhaust? Well, this kit is actually going on Chris's car. So when he shows up to a meet, you'll know about it, instead of hearing nothing but crickets and the sounds of nerds' khakis chafing. And yes, the fanboys are saying how disgusting noises it's making. Ew, gasoline sounds disgusting. Well, what can I say? Some people don't like quiet sex. Either way, let's go over the components that are needed for the swap from my main man, Chad, at the electrified garage.
So primarily it's the all-wheel drive battery pack. So the problem is there's no connector on the two-wheel drive battery
for the dual motors.
Dual motor.
Yep.
At least for Chris's year. If it's a single motor on a later date, it might actually have a dual motor pack and it's just plugged off. We're still confirming some things. But for this purpose, we have a dual motor pack with the wire harness for the front drive unit. New power fuse because this came out of an accident victim.
So that one popped.
Yep. And then we have the front drive unit and all of its mounts and axle shafts.
All right, so the motor mounts, axle shafts, and then these are additional, cooling tubes.
Cooling tubes, yep.
Okay, so are there also additional cooling links in the battery itself?
So this actually ties in line with the front cooling system, so the front hoses are a little different. So there's one that bypasses that would, like, in place of the drive unit. What these would do is you take that one line on, put those in line and connect it straight to the drive unit. Also, Chris's car is rear wheel drive. Does he also need new shocks as well? Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Gotcha.
So we have a coilover kit that we're prototyping.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Very nice, very nice.
So the two-wheel drive, the strut's designed just as a small H. So the drive shaft has to go through here. So in a two-wheel drive, the front is like forked like that, and this is open.
2 bolts there. There's another one underneath the seat here.
Okay.
Then the seat has to go forward, and then you have to like finagle yourself underneath the carpet.
Yeah.
And there's another one way back up in here.
But you don't have to move the seats.
No, you don't have to take them out, but you have to move the seat backwards
Back
and
and forth,
forwards.
right.
So, that
So you had to
get
keep 12
under
volt,
that.
obviously.
Yeah.
And then the same thing on the other side?
So if you look at the battery inside of the car, it's basically all of these here that you have to take out.
Ah, so this would be around where the front seat is, right there.
Yeah, this is actually like more where your feet would go for the pedals.
Okay.
And then this one is like right underneath where you're sitting. This one's right behind where you're sitting. And then this is right where the back seat would be.
I see.
So, and then the same thing on the other side. The ones in the middle here, you can actually see those through the floor. Those ones come up from underneath. You can see right there. There's one coming through.
your rodent droppings, Chris.
I don't have any animals living in my car.
parked outside, right?
Yeah.
So I don't understand. You park your car outside all the time, and you don't have any rats like eating your stuff.
See, Rich, there's no Popeye's chicken in there.
You
That's
see?
That's
That's not fair, Chad. I mean, he's not totally wrong, but I mean, I get it.
But I mean, my kids left a bunch of crackers in the car. I still didn't have any.
But it's not Popeye's. It doesn't have that good flavor.
The good oily flavor to it.
That
But wait, but you don't have anything to fall down to because you don't have any high voltage wiring here.
No.
So like all my kids' food, it like pools. Oh, you had little crackers in there, Chris. There you go.
I had some food here.
Yeah,
There was a whole
food
bunch
there.
of crackers. Pete said we could go shopping inside my car.
This car is designed a lot different from your Model S.
Oh no, definitely for sure.
Because if this car has no ports to the exterior, so this battery is sealed to the floorboard. All the way
Right.
around
So they can't even think of coming in anywhere.
There's nowhere for them to come into.
That's smart.
So there's no grommets, there's nothing to share from inside to the outside.
Right.
So the only area that it comes from the high voltage battery is up here, and it has a very large rubber grommet on the firewall for the HVAC.
Right.
And that's it. For the most part, it's through grommets with harnesses in them. There's no body cavities or anything else. It's stamped. Whereas the Model S had several cavities leading in and out.
Oh, I know about the cavities, Chad. Trust me. Oh, I know about those orifices.
Actually, we found from doing trailer hitches,
Yeah.
like behind this bumper, there's like places where there should be seam sealer and there isn't. You can like see straight to the ground.
Really?
So maybe they would get in that way if they knew, you know.
But they have to go in
But
the
there's
trunk.
nothing warm there to like attract them to it in the first place.
Right. Oh, the rear motor, maybe. No, you're not. Chad with the glove box. What's going on here, Chad?
So in order to get the glove box out, you got to take the airbag out because they're interclipped together. I mean, you can really reef on it and try to get it out, but somebody didn't put this in right from the beginning. So some of the clips are folded over and jammed in. So I just took it out all as one shot.
Oh, there's Chris's registration in there. There you go. Now Tesla has the VIN number so they could disable all the features of the car. Like, wait a minute, this isn't an all-wheel drive car. Wait a second. I don't think Tesla's that petty, except when it comes to me and my Roadster reservation. That's all. Besides the Roadster reservation, them canceling that, I don't think they're that petty.
We'll have to wait and see.
I'm making a mess.
Oh, I could see that.
So what I'm doing is just trying to rough out how this electrical is going to go.
Okay.
Because we don't have a plug for all-wheel drive.
Ah.
So this is like the drive inverter. So right up here, there'd normally be a plug out this main harness, and you plug this in.
Right to the front motor.
Right to the front motor. So the problem is we don't have the other end of this. So I have to create my own. So it means cutting all these wires and splicing them into the various places where they need to go.
All right, so there's a pre-existing harness. There's no actual connector to make it easier to
So
plug
it's
into.
like, so this main harness right here there'd be a pigtail off of this, and there'd be a connector on the frame rail.
Okay.
Whereas this, since we're doing it from two-wheel drive to four-wheel drive, there's no connector. It doesn't exist. So now I have to create my own socket for this.
Ah, I gotcha.
And that's what I'm trying to do is figure out where this is going to sit and how I'm going to have to run this harness around the car and where I have to tag into. So some of this is probably tagged into that harness. Some of this is going to have to go into the interior. So there's various connection points I have to make it to. So I didn't want to put the motor in just yet. We got the motor brackets in.
Oh, I see that.
So
And those mounts are already pre-existing. They're already the holes there.
The holes were
for those
there,
in,
yeah.
right?
So in a two-wheel drive, these bolts are not, they're not these bolts. You know, these bolts came with this bracket.
Okay.
There's just a hex bolt that goes in these holes, and it just bolts the multiple, I think there's 2 layers of frame in here, and it just holds it together. So when I take those out, the threaded holes are there, we just put them in with the longer bolts for the mounts. These coolant tubes have to come out. So this is the 2-wheel drive coolant tube configuration.
But there's a new coolant tube for the all-wheel drive one,
Correct.
right?
So we have to undo it from the super bottle and from over at the battery on this side. It goes around the corner right here.
All right, but there's a connection point right here we can undo.
That's why they did it. So you have like 2-wheel drive hose or you have a 4-wheel drive hose. So there'll be 2 different layouts.
And then what about, so how does that work with the all-wheel drive cars? Because I'm not going to say any names, but Elon Musk said that you could actually convert the front wheel to the rear wheel, but is there a different harness? I mean, the all-wheel drive and the rear-wheel drive don't use the same harness because of what you have to do, because you have to tag into it, right?
Right. Well, so that's just that we're trying to figure this out. I think the later ones, it's going to be one main harness. The earlier ones, since it was 2-wheel drive and they intended for 2-wheel drive only at that time.
Okay.
They made the frame and everything for 4-wheel drive, but their intention was 2-wheel drive. So this harness does not have.
I gotcha. So this is an earlier car, but perhaps the later rear-wheel drive cars do have that connector in there. Okay.
Correct. Because their ideas are to simplify things one part for multiple lines.
I gotcha.
So the later ones would still have the all-wheel drive harness in there, but it would probably just have a cap over the plug.
I see.
Whereas this one didn't even have the plug. So if we were to really do this like officially, we can buy a whole new front harness for this thing and then put the front harness into it.
All right.
That's a lot of work.
But what does the front harness tag into? That goes back into the interior.
So that goes from the headlights to the central module here to the interior modules on the sides, left and right. So when you do a whole harness, I mean, you're talking from the headlights to up in the firewall area in the inside.
Right.
So it's a lot of work for a plug.
Yeah.
And especially a plug with only
it's only like 4 or 5 wires on it, right?
So it's not like it's the end of the world here. I can create our own harness out of this, but
okay. And then later on we could talk about there's obviously are there additional pumps?
yes. So on the drive unit itself, there are. Can't really see it from here. So there's an oil pump on the bottom. There it is. It's on that backside there. So there's an oil pump there for the cooling of the drive unit and lubrication of the drive unit.
But it's integrated into the drive unit itself.
It's integrated, so that's part of this harness right here.
I see.
But for actual coolant pumps, it's using the same pumps that are in the car right now. It's just a matter of rerouting these coolant.
So it's almost like tagging it in line with pumps that already exist.
Correct.
Okay, I gotcha. Good call. Whoever's listening to that, I'm sure you have to go to the bathroom and pee now. Look at that. Listen to that.
Yeah, because when they shipped the other battery to us, the receiving dock freaked out and they were like, "So we had a leak and we don't know what just came out of what came out of that."
Like, it's cool. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, well, they were like, "It's a lithium battery. Why is it leaking?"
Oh, yeah.
Freaked out.
Don't worry about it. Don't you worry your pretty little head, boys. We got this. So those are the rear connectors, right?
Well, these go from the back of the battery to the front of the battery. They run alongside the battery.
And then what goes to the motor?
So that's all front. So the motor back here has this tube, and there's another tube over here that shares that goes to the front. So right here.
Look at all this logic stuff, man. That's interesting.
So this is for the front cabin heater.
Yep.
And the AC compressor. So they actually plug in all in the back here. They go down the spine to the front. And that's, see if you see these holes right here. That's for the power cable for the front drive unit. So this is the rear drive unit connector right here.
Yeah.
This plug right here would be for the front.
I saw.
So if you had something like, an actual connector there, the wires would come out and go down this all up to the front. So all your connectors for this are in the back.
What a different design. Remember back in the day, these used to be like these giant, monstrous
They
wires.
realized over the time that they don't need to be that big. They don't need to have that much amperage through them.
Right.
They're getting better in their design.
Oh, absolutely. This thing is rock solid. Whoa.
Didn't quite come out the way I was hoping.
Maybe I'll pick the bucket up. Do that.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah. Look at me thinking outside the. Well, I didn't really do much, but still.
It's just a dribble. That's all we have. Diapers everywhere, and
we're all gonna get cooling on each other.
So how does this battery come out as opposed to the S?
so this
Are
is
there
totally
bolts?
different. This is a nightmare. So this battery is bolted in multiple ways. So underneath these rockers,
Yeah.
come over here. I got one side pulled down a little bit. So what you have to do is take out all the bolts up top.
Yep. In the cabin.
In
Then
in
pull the
cabin.
rocker panels off.
If you pull the rocker panels off, you got bolts down here as well.
Ah.
And then you have bolts along the back half. But if you
I
notice,
see.
look where the lift is.
Oh, that makes it
The
convenient.
lift is underneath the battery.
Makes it very easy to get to.
Yeah, so in order to get this battery out, you have to lift the car in another position. So you legitimately have to lower the whole car and the battery onto a table that can support the weight of the entire car. Move these lift arms, and there's a lift point on these rockers. Go ahead.
Let's see.
I already had enough coolant.
Here comes the coolant.
Chris.
Still not coming out.
Mind you, Chris had 47 chicken nuggets today, right?
So many chicken nuggets.
Ah, there we go. You got
Nothing. Nothing. Shooting blanks.
here.
All for nothing.
Of course. I get the coat covered in coolant.
I know. Chris is like, there's air coming out of there. Where do you get these from, Chad? I could use
Believe it
these.
or not, when we do the hybrid conversions, they're on all the coolant lines.
I could use this for, you know, for some research stuff.
Yes, research.
Damn right, Chad. Let's check out this this mount you made, Chad. This is pretty cool.
Like that?
Yeah, it's all labeled. Is there a part number on this? Can you start selling this,
Yeah,
Chad?
I actually started selling
You should
this.
sell that.
So I actually built this for the small drive units when we did that conversion to the P100. So I made a rig because I figured we were going to be using it more and more. So it actually works on the Model 3 drive units. Pretty nice.
Oh, that's gonna be great.
All right, move the gantry just like that, or this way, something straight.
So it doesn't start swinging.
Yeah. Look at that, perfectly level. Perfectly level.
Look at that. Chad, what's that? The most beautiful looking car in the world. That's what that is,
Most
Chad. Look
beautiful
at that.
Prius. Is what that is.
Now, before I watch the boys Electrified Garage do their thing, I wanted to point out that Chad is wearing gloves. Some people wear sunscreen, some people carry hand grenades, but ask yourself, what are you doing to protect your computer against hackers, or even worse, your pesky internet service provider? Probably nothing, right? They see all the sites you're visiting, even when you're incognito mode, which we all use at least 2 to 3 times a week. Every time you connect to your neighbor's unencrypted Wi-Fi network because you're too cheap to pay for your own, you are at risk. But now there's ExpressVPN. I actually use them, and I have them reroute my connection so my nosy ISP can't see where I'm going, and I can continue to access the web freely and enjoy whatever websites I like. They even encrypt that traffic with the highest standard of encryption available. And now when I'm on vacation in a foreign country that no one's ever heard of, I can now access YouTube videos and change my location by using ExpressVPN. Uncle Rich's interesting web browsing is safe once again, and as a thank you for not telling everyone what sites I visit, I'll show you how you can get 3 months free by heading over to expressvpn.com/richrebuilds to enjoy your special time. Thank you, ExpressVPN, for sponsoring this episode.
Oh, never know.
Moment of truth?
It is.
Moment of truth, baby.
Check. Look between the black of the pack and then like the rocker. Keep your eye on it. Yep.
Make sure it's getting wider.
Yeah, make sure it's getting wider. Okay, Chris, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely getting wider.
Yep.
It's up. Yeah,
You're
it's
good.
up.
Keep going.
Yeah, I think
Keep
we're
going.
good.
Yep. Up.
One more.
All the way. No problem. Send it.
Yeah.
I can see in your back seat. Oh, look at the glue. It's gooey. Look at that. It's gooey.
Look how clean this battery is.
There's a dead hamster on top of here.
Oh, don't say that. Bio battery. Hello, new battery with 197 miles of range. Oh, God. Goodbye, Chris. It's been fun.
Toodaloo.
There he is.
Hello.
That's kind of funny.
My Model 3 is now powered by Chris.
I know. Actually, that'd be.
Magically,
Oh,
the
look at
bolt
that.
is in the car.
Look at that.
I'm ready for you.
Double it up. Oh yeah, just put it in. You got any lube?
No lube for you.
How many volts is that certified up to? 1,000? 1,000. 1,000 volts. Yeah.
Okay.
Moment of truth.
So let's see what we got for bricks voltage here. So this is the hot side of the battery. So that post is live.
Mm-hmm.
That's your contactor, and that's after everything else in here. So that has no voltage on it. It shouldn't have any voltage, I should say. So we're gonna hit that. And the other side, so this goes up through
the
one,
first brick, 1, 2, or 2 bricks.
It goes through one brick, loops to the second brick, and comes down, and this is the other side of that same brick.
Gotcha.
So I have my polarity backwards on the meter, but we're still getting about 176 volts right there. And then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side for voltage as well. So we got 176 in this section.
You pop this one off, right?
Yep. Go that side to this. I shouldn't be reaching over this like that.
177.
177. So we're pretty matched from left to right. So 177 plus 177.
That's like what? You figure 350, 340?
And that's about right. So this is the power fuse. This is definitely blown. You can see it melted on in here. The wrinkle.
Oh, I see it. The heat.
That's for the heat.
The heat wrinkle, yeah.
Pretty cool how they set the terminals up.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to unplug it. You just pull it out and it pulls the terminals out.
It's perfect.
Yeah, you can see how it melted right in the side.
Smell it. Sniff, sniff, test. Yeah, it smells burnt to me.
So the reason why this thing is so large, see these holes? That's the vent for it. And they made sure that it has a special shield in it for the arc flash. So when you blow that at high amperage, it doesn't shoot metal all over the interior of the battery. Yeah, so this only goes in one way. So there's a pin and then a slot. If you look, there's a pinhole.
Yep, and a slot right there. It's perfect.
This only goes in one way. So if you lift this up.
It's a hell of a lot harder to get to.
Right.
Oh, that folds up. Oh, that's kind of cool. I didn't realize that.
So this is your high voltage module for logic. And then this is your charger. Here's your contacts.
Yeah.
So it's not much. So I don't have high voltage tools on me. So you gotta be super careful about not touching the framework or anything. Okay, so our power fuse is in, bolts are tight, it's plugged in because it plugs in when you insert it.
Okay, let's get
We're good to put the lid back on.
penthouse back on.
Yep. You have to lube the shaft before putting it
Shaft.
Lube that shaft.
Lube that shaft.
Lube that shaft.
So right now, Chris is putting his new struts in because he needs that because he has all-wheel drive now. So the axle goes through this right here, and it couldn't do that before because it was in the way. And it's a new one. Oh, these for sale, Chris?
Those, yes, they are.
Oh, look at this. You gotta be a salesman, Chris. That's for sale. If you're looking for KW coilovers for your Model 3, if this only fit the
Only rear wheel drive.
cars.
Variant 3s.
Yeah, KW variant 3s. They're great coilovers. They did well on the track. Chris didn't drive the car because he can't. What are you gonna say, Chad?
So we did a video on these.
Really?
Yeah,
oh, the
so-
install, right? To the channel.
install video
So
was
not
on
only can you buy these, but there's actually an installation video on the Electrified Garage channel. And Chris is gonna personally sign each one. So if you want a discount, have Chris sign. That way they're worth less.
Yeah, so what I'm doing, so this is the front drive unit harness for the whole front drive unit. So you have the drive unit, the oil pump, and I think it's the speed signal wire. So, and the party,
Wait, so is there also, but there's also the coolant, the oil pump. There's the
coolant's done through the same tank.
Oh, so there's no
additional coolant
pump. Okay. Okay.
It's the oil pump I have to tie into. So that's what these two heavy duty wires are. So one's the power, one's the ground. This is the ground for the logic. Then I have a bus connection.
Was it
Party
bus?
Party bus.
Party
That is
bus.
the party bus. Party time. So this is the party bus to the drive unit. And I'm going to tie that into the steering rack one.
Okay.
So I'm
Thank
tying
you,
that.
Pete. Thank you.
Yeah. Clean up. I don't
Did you
want.
do that? Am I cleaning up your mess?
No, I don't know what were you even cleaning up? I didn't even see anything there.
It's cool.
Oh, cool. Okay, yeah.
So I'm tying the bus, and then I have to tie in a few other wires here and there. So I'm gonna try to go into the interior and tag those in. Otherwise, I'd have to run a wire all the way to the rear drive unit to tag those in.
And then what's the relay for?
So the relay is for the oil pump. The oil pump has high amperage draw. So I need to put a relay on to shut it on and off.
So when does it know to turn on and off? Because this car never had a front drive unit on it before.
Yep.
Like how does it know?
So it's tying into the rear drive unit feed for the
So when the rear drive unit turns on, the oil
front
pump,
will
the
turn
front
on.
one turns
Yeah.
on as well.
I mean, technically, the way that it's wired from the factory, this would actually plug into the front module, and this would do all that. It would turn it on and off, and data communication, all that stuff. But we don't have those wires in this harness.
Okay.
So I'm creating a tie-in for
Look at
it.
that, creation.
Yeah, creation. So that's why I'm tying in the relay for the oil pump.
All right.
I mean, this relay is way heavier duty than needed.
No, yeah, that's huge. A Tesla relay would be like.
Yeah, it's tiny, but that's the only waterproof one I had handy.
All right, that makes sense.
But I'm gonna tie the power feed in from the battery. This will feed the pump, and then I'll have the switch wire for the oil pump for that. So we're getting there. Cool. So what we're tagging into is the vehicle can, which is these two right here, the yellow and the white. The yellow is my high, which should be the blue and the red on the Miltech system. Alright, so here we tag them up right here. But since this is an early car, we don't have that. This just goes straight in here. That. Just plug this back in.
All right, here we are, Chris's new all-wheel drive Model 3, and it has a bonus surprise on it too. We'll get to that in a second, but look at this. Look at that, huh? Dual exhaust on a Model 3. Well, I'll be damned. I'll be damned.
Are you ready for this?
Ready for it? I'm ready for it. Let's do it, Chad. When you open the door, it turns on? We have an all-wheel drive Model 3 here. All-wheel drive. See right now? Chris, that sounds beautiful, Chris. Look at this. Look at that.
Put your mouth on it, not die.
That's what. It's so funny.
Pretty loud.
It is pretty loud. Even outside, it's loud. I'm telling you, man.
Oh, this is like a whole other level. Those rear brakes are like twice as thick as them.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, no, it's insane.
Stupid, man.
So in terms of like power, how does it feel, Chris, to have a car that actually has some
They can actually get out of its own way now.
has some testicles now? Yeah. How's it feel? How's it feel, Chris?
It's nice to be on the highway and actually be able to pass people for a change.
Ready? Go ahead, go for it. Oh wow, that's a difference and a that's a difference and a half, dude. Let's see this thing stop, Chris, from whatever 50 or whatever. Ah! Oh, holy shit. So what did you add? So you added the new rear. So for modifications on the rear brake, what did you do?
So they're the new single rear calipers from Model S that are on like the new performance car. And then it's a two-piece rotor with a Model S ring and then a Model 3 hat. So it's a direct bolt-on and it has an adapter bracket to space it out. And it's plug and play for any Model S, or I'm sorry, Model 3 that has the base brakes.
Okay.
It's the connector is exactly the same connector. The car doesn't even realize it's a different caliper. Works without any error codes. It's perfectly fine.
And do we sell that currently?
We do. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah,
perfect.
He has that one. Yep.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So all you have to do is source a set of those rear calipers on eBay for like I think like $200 a piece.
Oh, the single rear from the newer
Yeah.
S
Yep.
or X or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yep. And that's all you gotta do. It's plug and play.
That's pretty damn cool, man.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Stops.
It stops on a dime, dude. I got a headache when you just stopped on that.
Chad, I bounced Chad off the steering dashboard.
Oh, I bet you did, dude. That's no joke now. That's like supercar territory.
Yeah.
Stopping.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that was
crazy.
that was phenomenal.
Yep.
And the car supercharges, right? And
Supercharges. Everything else is fine. All my, I have full self-driving. All of that stuff works. And we can, it's if
It can't do it now. Yeah.
There's no lines in the road. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
Everything works fine.
Jeez, Chris. So what are we thinking in terms of, so Chris started off with the rear-wheel drive standard Model 3, and he went to a stage 1 car, and stage 1 means an all-wheel drive Model 3 with the stage 1, which is like a half a second performance boost, I guess you could say.
Right, yeah.
So how
50 horsepower.
50 horsepower boost, which is it's damn fast. So how much do you think, is this a service that we're going to do for people? And I could obviously edit this part out.
Yeah.
But what do you think we would charge for this? Because you had to replace you had to add a front motor.
You have to have front motor, front axles, front struts. You have to replace the battery with a dual motor battery because there's no high voltage connector for the front motor. And then we have to do basically at least stage 1 to program the whole car. So I think it's going to be somewhere between 11 to 13 grand installed.
Okay.
Parts and labor.
All right.
It really just depends on what we can get the used parts for to complete the conversion.
Okay.
So obviously Tesla's not going to sell us a battery.
No, they will not.
And even though drive units are not restricted, I don't think they're ever going to actually sell one to somebody.
So what someone would have to do is they have to bring in their car and they'd have to kind of source that stuff already. They'd have to know
Right.
where to get a battery. But we have a battery source, right? Who's the...
Yeah, so the company we work with is called Cali Motive. You can find them on eBay, and they also have their own website as well. And basically all they do is buy salvage Teslas and take them apart and then resell all the parts off.
Gotcha. So we sourced the battery motor from Cali Motive.
Yep.
So if you're looking to get stuff, you could go there to get some stuff. And I think when and if I get a 3, I think that's going to be a thing where I might just do that.
Yeah.
So, all right, cool, man. Well, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed this episode. The terrorists have won. I am back to beating the Tesla content dead horse because I'm not good for anything else, apparently. Big thanks to NGINX who helped with this project tremendously. They were the OGs of the swap, so shout out to them. Also, don't forget that 0 at IAAI.com, and I will see you guys next week.